So if you've been following Technology Jock on Twitter, which you should, you would have come across this tweet. It kinda went viral. I sure didn't want to stir anything up, but come on, I just couldn't ignore it. You understand, right? And then there is the Mediatek Helio G90T. One brand says 720G is better than the other two. The same brand says the 730G is the best. And then another brand says the G90T is the best. Anyway, for this test, we've got two phones, the Note 9 Pro and the Realme 6, both of which start from 13,000 rupees. Let's get started. Before we begin, a huge shout out to our sponsor, cdkoffers.com. CDK Offers is an amazing platform that sells a lot of software and game keys at very reasonable rates. But the most important of all, and my favorite, would be the Windows 10 Pro key. Click the link in the description, click buy now, type in the promo code TJ20 to bring the price down to less than $14, which is just about 1,000 rupees for genuine Windows 10 Pro. Click submit order, make the payment, and done. Now click user center. If the order is still processing, refresh the page after a minute. Now go in and you'll find the key. Now all you need to do is copy the code, search for activation in the start menu, go here, click change product key, paste the code, and activate. That's it. You've got genuine Windows 10 Pro on your PC now for less than $14. So do check out cdkoffers.com, link in the description. Back to the video. Now it's not just the chip inside that we care about. This being a Technology Jock style speed test, we are gonna compare almost everything from app opening times, RAM management to the fingerprint scanner speed and even video rendering capabilities. Let's begin with the fingerprint scanner. This is something you do tens of times a day, if not hundreds, and the Realme 6 is better at it. Better as in faster and more accurate. Actually, both are equally fast, but there is an unlocking animation on the Note 9 Pro, so it takes a bit more time to display the home screen. In terms of accuracy, I found the Note 9 Pro to be not perfect. As you can see, it does struggle to recognize my fingerprint once in a while. Do note that I'm using the Realme 6 on my left hand and my middle finger goes around the back and reaches the fingerprint scanner, so you can't say my entire finger doesn't sit on the Note 9 Pro scanner because my finger doesn't cover the entire scanner on the Realme 6 either, but still it's perfectly alright. But yeah, it's not a deal breaker or anything, it happens rarely. Let's now check the app opening times. Note that I turned off all sorts of power saving modes on both phones. Like on the Note 9 Pro, I disabled restrictions for all the apps. It took just a few seconds. On the Realme 6, I had to disable battery saver for every single app individually, which took a lot of time. But there is a catch. I'll talk about it in a few minutes. The Realme 6 also has a performance mode, so I enabled it. Basically, both phones are set up in a way that they will perform as best as they can. Also note that the app switcher is clear, there is nothing running in the background, and both phones are connected to the same Wi-Fi. Let's start with the Twitter app. Both phones were equally fast. Instagram, the Note 9 Pro was a fraction of a second quicker. Facebook, Realme 6 this time. Google Maps, almost equally fast, but the Realme 6 loaded the content first. Let's now open some location. Later we'll come back and check whether the same page opens. TikTok opened on both phones at the same time. Google Drive almost the same time. Spotify, once again equally fast. Let's open some playlist to come back later and check. Prime Video, once again the difference isn't noticeable. Swiggy, Realme 6 was slightly faster here. Once again, let me add something to cart. Later we'll come back and check whether it's still in cart or we have to start from scratch. Subway Surfers, these are relatively big files to load, so this is where I'm expecting to see a bigger difference. Well, no luck. Let's start the game and then come out. Next up, PUBG. The Realme 6 is about 1 second slower. Still no huge difference. What about Call of Duty Mobile? Well, the Realme 6 loads it first and the Redmi Note 9 Pro takes 5 to 6 seconds more. Now the last row of apps, everything is pretty light. Phone and messages open instantly on the Realme 6. Chrome takes the same amount of time pretty much, but the camera app opens first on the Realme 6, allowing us to click a picture much earlier. So overall, for opening apps and games, the Realme 6 has an edge over the Note 9 Pro. I mean, in most cases, both phones were almost equally fast, or the difference was pretty negligible, but in some cases, the Realme 6 performed noticeably better. Let's now check out the background app management, more commonly known as RAM management. Remember, we opened some things on some apps like that location on Google Maps, that playlist on Spotify, added something to the cart on Swiggy, started Subway Surfers and so on. Let's see if all those apps open up to the same pages. Let's see if the phone has them in memory or if the apps have to start from scratch, load from scratch. So the bottom row of apps, camera, Chrome, messages, phone, everything opens instantly. Okay, phone and messages take a fraction of a second on Note 9 Pro, but not a big deal. Now let's see if the games are kept open in the background. Call of Duty? The Realme 6 has it in memory, but unfortunately the Note 9 Pro loads it from scratch. What about PUBG? Same results. The Realme 6 has it in memory, the Note 9 Pro doesn't. Same is the case with Subway Surfers. You can just resume the game you started on the Realme 6, whereas you lose the game progress on the Note 9 Pro. Swiggy? Both phones open up to the same page, but the Note 9 Pro took more time. Prime Video is in memory, no issues. Spotify is in memory too, but it opens faster on the Realme 6. We can notice the same with Google Drive as well. Google Maps? The Realme 6 opens up to the same page instantly, while the Note 9 Pro takes quite a lot of time. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all three apps opened first on the Realme 6. So this round goes to the Realme 6 out and out. It just dominated the entire round. Now remember I said there was a catch while turning off the battery saver and all that? Well, so before I did all those things like turning off battery saver, background restrictions and so on, I did this test off camera just to check how they performed in the default settings. Because let's be honest, most people are just gonna buy the phone, unbox and start using it just like that. Very few people will tinker with those settings on a regular basis. So in the default settings, the Realme 6 still had all those apps open in the background. PUBG, Call of Duty, Subway Surfers, and apps like Spotify, Prime Video, Google Maps, none of them reloaded. But on the Note 9 Pro, as you saw, I mean, whether the battery saver is on or off, either way, it didn't matter because it kept reloading everything anyway. Anyway, let's now move on to video rendering. I'm using Adobe Premiere Clip to get it done. The same video has been loaded onto both phones. It's the exact same project. The speed of the footage is set to 50%. Basically, we are gonna turn a regular video into a slow motion video. We are gonna render it in 1080p resolution. Now, this is where we get to compare the performance of the chip, because rendering requires really high CPU power. Now, although benchmarks suggest that the Note 9 Pro 720G chip has a faster CPU, it's not really reflecting here. The Realme 6 with the G90T chip is in the lead. It's considerably faster. The Realme 6 took just 53 seconds to complete the render, while the Note 9 Pro took 1 minute and 32 seconds, which is like 75% slower than the Realme 6. Let's also quickly do an internet speed test. When we run them simultaneously, the Note 9 Pro uses more bandwidth, it's faster. But if we run the test on these phones one after the other, the difference is not that big, but still the Note 9 Pro is the faster of the two. Now it's worth mentioning that I'm in my new studio. As you can see, the router is on the ground floor. The speed test was done on the first floor. So like the phones were pretty far away from the router. So I redid the test after taking these phones closer to the router on the first floor. And in that case, the difference wasn't that big. The Note 9 Pro was still faster, but the difference wasn't really big. Anyway, on cam I did it on the first floor, which is quite far away from the router, so we can say that the Note 9 Pro has better Wi-Fi reception. You can see the difference in speed while downloading the same file on both phones. We are almost done with the video. Let's now quickly reboot the phones. Fast forwarding again. So once again, this technology jock style speed test serves as proof that the chip of a phone doesn't really matter all that much unless the right optimizations are in place. There is no excuse for extremely poor RAM management on the Note 9 Pro. And the Helio G90T chip on the Realme 6 just blazed through video rendering. It was much faster. The fingerprint scanner accuracy is also something Redmi needs to work on. Hopefully it gets better with updates. Wi-Fi performance is one thing that the Note 9 Pro is definitely better at. But otherwise, for pretty much everything else, I would suggest the Realme 6. It's also pretty evident in gaming. It supports better graphics on PUBG, it supports smooth plus extreme settings, which is 60 FPS, while the Note 9 Pro supports only up to smooth plus ultra, which is just 40 FPS. But guys, an important note, the 4GB RAM variant of the Realme 6 doesn't support these high graphic settings. You need to get the 6GB RAM variant for 60 FPS gameplay. That's something most people are not aware of, so there you go, the results are quite clear. But if speed is not that big of a deal to you, then check out the camera comparison between these phones. I'll also come up with a full comparison after using the Redmi Note 9 Pro for a few more days. Redmi is still pushing updates, so I don't want to post full comparison without all the bug fixes. You can subscribe and hit the bell icon. YouTube will send you a notification when I post the video. It's a nice feature. You should make use of it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. This is Ashwin Sundar, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.